If I asked you, with what event did the Islamic calendar start? What would you say? Maybe the Prophet's birth? Maybe the beginning of his revelation? Or maybe the conquest of Mecca? Well, if you picked any of those, you'd be wrong, okay? Because the Islamic calendar doesn't begin with events of ease or victory or celebration. It actually started with the Hijrah, which was a moment of rupture, a painful separation of uncertain sacrifice. And that's exactly why it matters so much in 2025, because the Hijrah should be your template for every major transformation or new chapter in your life. And if you're someone who's ready for change in your health, your career, your relationships, or spirituality, you need to understand what the Hijrah really means. And guys, this isn't some history lesson or fairy tale, okay? It's about you and your next chapter. So let's break it down. So after the Prophet ﷺ passed away, the companions needed a system to mark time. And when Umar radiallahu anhu, he became the Khalifa, he started sending letters to communicate with all the leaders around the growing Muslim lands. But there was a problem. They didn't have dates. And no, not the kind of dates that you eat. They had plenty of those, all right? So the Sahaba, they had a meeting, right? They sat down and he asked them, when should we start counting from? They could have chosen the birth of the Prophet or the first revelation, the Battle of Badr, or the conquest of Mecca. But they didn't. They chose the Hijrah. Why? Well, that was because that was the moment that everything changed. This was the first time that the Muslims moved from persecution to power, from believing in private to building in public, from insecurity to independence. And it wasn't a moment of victory, but it was a moment of alignment. And that's what made it the perfect place to begin. Now, here's the kicker. The first month they chose wasn't the month that the Hijrah happened. Okay, that was actually in Rabi al-Awwal. But instead, the month they chose was Muharram. Weird. But why? Because after the Hijjah, what happens? The Hajjaj return. And that moment of return, of renewal, is when it's perfect to start over. All right, so they come back from Hajj or from a tough season of life with a slate that is clean of sin. So they align the start of the year with the comeback. Okay? Because the Hijrah isn't just about leaving or going somewhere. It's about what you're going to begin. You see, the Hijrah is all about movement. Okay? It's movement from somewhere to somewhere else. It's a journey from comfort to conviction, from fear to faith, from stagnation to striving. And every journey, if you really think about it, has three things, right? It starts with clarity about what needs to be left behind. Number two is a vision for where you're headed. And number three is a willingness to sacrifice what's necessary or what's in the way. Now, let me show you how this applies to you in your life right now. Okay, so here we are in the third quarter of the Gregorian year, 2025, and we're already in Safar, the second month of the Hijri year of 1447. And so this is the perfect checkpoint. It's not quite a fresh start, not quite the ending. It's a moment that we can pause and we can recalibrate. Okay, so three questions I want you to ask yourself are, number one, where do I need to go? Number two, what am I willing to sacrifice to get there? And number three, what do I need to leave behind? So take a moment and maybe pause this video and really think about this, okay? Really think about these questions as they pertain to the rest of 2025 or 1447, okay? Got it? Hit pause. All right, great. Now, let me tell you about a woman who actually lived this, okay? This is actually the story of our mother, Salama, radiallahu anha. And before she was married to the Prophet ﷺ, she tried to make the Hijrah with her husband, Abu Salama, and her child, Salam. But her tribe, actually, they caught her and they stopped her. Okay, they pulled her back and they separated her from her husband. And they said, if you want to leave, go right ahead. But her, she's one of us. We're not letting her go. And then to make things even more painful, his tribe came and then they took the child. So in one day, she lost everything. Now imagine the grief and the pain of trying to follow Allah's command. And then you wind up losing your entire family in an instant as a result. Now, the days turned into weeks until Allah made a way for her. And she was reunited with her son. And she made the Hijrah. And she was also reunited with her husband. And it was that commitment and determination that made her one of the best women to ever walk the face of the earth. And to be honest, that's the kind of energy that we need today, because it's people like that who built this ummah from scratch. And I believe it's high time that we start building it up again. So what about you, right? as you reflect on the first half of this year, what habits held you back? What beliefs kept you small? What relationships drained you? I want you to get really clear on what you need to leave behind. And maybe you're conditioned for comfort. Maybe you're trapped in perfectionism. Maybe you keep telling yourself that you're not ready for that next level. But here's the truth. You don't need to be ready. You just need to be willing. Willing to let go, willing to realign, willing to take that first step. So that's the clarity. And that's the willingness that we've been talking about. And all that leaves for us to figure out is the vision for the future. What is your vision for the future? But before you set loose on those goals, you need direction, right? A true north direction at that. Not just a compass that's, could be experiencing magnetic interference, right? And going all topsy-turvy. You need a real compass, and you get that from purpose, okay? And this is a framework I'm going to teach you right now that I use with my clients that I call the pyramid of purpose. No, it's not just because my heritage is Egyptian. But listen, most goal setting starts with maybe vision or mission. It jumps right into the goals and the dreams. But in Islam, we know that the world doesn't revolve around us, right? That's a very egocentric. I start with me, what I want, what my vision is. And that's great. And we're going to get to that. Don't get me wrong. But first, we have to anchor on the context. And by that, I mean, who are you? What are you? Why did Allah create you here, now, in this time, in this land? What strengths, struggles, experiences that you have that have shaped your life? And when you have that, oh man, it's so powerful, right? Because once you know that, you can actually build up a pyramid. You have a sturdy foundation on which you can build a pyramid. And it starts with your identity. And that's who you are in this moment. And also who you're becoming. Next is your vision. Now, this is the future you feel called to create. Imagine a snapshot of the world you believe that Allah wants you to help create. After that is mission. And this is your daily expression of that purpose. It's the work that you're committed to do now, which will bring about that vision. After that comes strategy. And this is your high-level plan, okay? It's about the choices that you're going to make and the boundaries that you'll set in order to execute on that mission. After that comes goals. And these are just the tangible outcomes you're aiming for this quarter or this year. What does progress look like in the next 3 or 12 months, right? And then finally, tactics. And these are the actual tangible actions and habits that you're going to commit to. They outline your daily and weekly rhythm that will make your goals a reality. So again, this whole exercise isn't about being selfish and only focusing on you and your life, right? It's about what you believe Allah is asking of you right here and right now. All right. Now, before we close, I want to do a little exercise with you, okay? Let's start by picturing 1448 Hijri or 2026 Gregorian, whichever calendar you're going by. How do you want to feel by the end of this year? How do you want to feel? How do you want your life to look? How do you want your day to sound? What are the daily moments that you want to experience? Do you want to feel more aligned? Do you want to feel more present, more committed in your service to Allah, in living a vibrant, fully expressed life? Well, good news. That can start now. Yep. You can just will it into existence because it starts with a decision. Okay, so let's decide right now. Let's do it together, okay? What will you leave behind? Where are you headed? And what is the sacrifice required to walk on that path? And remember, the Hijrah began with courage, with the openness to go on a journey to create space for something new, right? Creating an opening. So let's walk and let's let Allah handle the rest. All right, if this resonated with you, then please give this video a like, leave a comment below with what you're committing to leave behind, and also subscribe for more videos just like this. Until next time, may your wounds be integrated, your gifts be activated, and your path be illuminated. I believe in you.